See you in church. It's story time, story time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell this story. It's long winded, but one of the ladies came and told us. So I'm going to tell you her story, and then I'll tell you the second part of her story. When she was younger, she lived in a small town, and all these towns must be in a circle around these same woods. That's what I think. Anyway, she lived in a small town and she was like me, but not like me. She was bullied as a child. I was bullied too, but see, for me, I didn't care less. You could say whatever you wanted to, it didn't mean shit to me. My mom taught me a long time ago that who cares what other people think? If you like the color black, you wear it. If you like the color green, you wear it. Whatever you like, that's your business because you're the one that's wearing it. And if they don't like it, well, they don't have to dress like you. That's what she taught me. But it didn't really work that way in real life because she was worried about what other people thought. I found that out later when I grew was as I was growing up. But anyway, I digress. She comes to our circle and she starts talking about how she'd been treated really bad when she was younger and she had gotten tired of her treatment. She thought, I should be treated better, not because of who she was or whatever. She just got tired of people tripping her, hitting her, punching her when the teacher didn't look or whatever. So she went to the woods and there was a witch in the woods, an evil witch. But she didn't know that she was evil. She knew, that's the way I see it, but because she knew what she wanted. She wanted to get even with all those people who were evil to her, who were bullies. So she asked the witch for help. And the witch said to her, I'll give you the help, but you first have to do this for it to work. So she went all over the town and did these little markings or whatever, and she wore this little stone on her neck, and she went and did this stuff that she gave her. She thought it was um, really pretty. So then she went and told her she did what she told them. So now she goes, here you go. And she gave her a handful of little tiny bags. The only reason I remembered this was because I started watching some boring ass show called Maria or Marina or something like that. And it brought up the memories, except for the witch. It was boring. The girl is afraid. That was boring. The whole storyline was just boring. There was nothing scary about it, and it just annoyed me tremendously. And then this popped up into my head that little girl had been given pouches, except for the pouches weren't made out of skin. They were made out of, um, she said it looked like beanbag. You'd get a huge fabric bag full of beans. And in the old days, they would be like um, cross stitching bags like that, all stitched up. So she decided, okay, I'll do that. And she went and she gave one to each of these bullies, put them in their bags, and all of them that she gave the bags out to got really, really, really sick. They didn't die, but they got horribly sick. And she got her revenge, she thought. And she walked over to the lady and she told them thank you and everything, but she had one of those little bags left and she was returning it to her. And she goes, well, why do you have one bag? She says, I only had this many enemies that were bugging me. The other ones just don't see me. I don't have a reason to harm them. Well, you could have given it to anybody you didn't like. And she goes, uh, I just wanted to get even with the people that actually physically harmed me. And she gave it back to her. It sort of annoyed the witch. So the witch was like, okay, whatever, that's up to you. If you don't want to take advantage of it, that's your business. But, okay. So then she was wondering what was going on, and she says, you know, when you grow up at a child, when you grow up, come back here and I'll have something special for you. She goes, you will? She goes, yes. You helped me, so I've already helped you, but it's, it'll be nice. You'll come and you'll see what happens. So she was getting close to that age already. She had 2 more years and she'd be that age. So then she goes over and she stayed back in the background and she just hung around and was listening, and she heard the witch talking to somebody, and she goes, who is she talking to? She goes, I don't know who she's talking to. She goes, who is she talking to? And she's talking to herself, answering herself too. She sees nobody there. She's there cackling and saying, that stupid child, I can't wait for her to show up. She's telling telling the air so far as she knows. And all of a sudden she listens hard and she hears another voice. The little voice is really low, but she could hear a little voice say, what are you going to do? She goes, well, she's been wearing my stone all this time. And as she wears the stone, I get to know who she is. She has no powers of any form or fashion. I thought she did. But her youth will help me find. I will be young and I can fight the 3 witches. And I'll win. I'll be strong enough. It'll double my power being in that body, in that form. I'll be able to sit in that throne. And the other 2 witches, they won't do nothing. They'll just sit there and be quiet because I'll be the stronger. Because I will win. So the little girl heard what she said. She had gone there earlier. So there she goes running home, and she asks her grandmother, what 3 witches? I just know the one witch over there. She goes, oh, the 3 witches. You know the 3 witches. Remember when you were sick? I went that way into the woods where the 3 witches are. And I asked for something to cure you. And it did. So she saw the trail after she pointed it out. So the next night, she went down that trail, found the three witches. It looked completely different than this witch. Theirs was in the side of a hill. And as you walk down the trail, you walk all the way down into an open cave. And in the cave were 4 thrones. She said before she could run away, someone appeared behind her and pushed her in and told her, "How can we help you?" and lead her to the center of the room. She says, "I just came because I heard there were 3 witches here." She goes, "Well, you don't look sick." And the other witch appeared and said, "Well, you don't look like you need any help. You aren't crippled." And the last one came out of the darkness as a smoke and appeared. But it wasn't a woman, it was a man. And he says to her, "Why are you here, child?" And she told her story. She told them all. But she never looked at the dark one. She looked at the one in white and told her story to her. And then none of them spoke except for him. And he said, "Oh, her." And he goes, "We know what's going on there. We've been watching her. She doesn't have a chance." "And what did you do for her, child?" And she told what she did. And he swirled his finger like that, smiled and looked at the other witches and said, "It didn't work, child, don't worry. She didn't know the spell right because she's not from that world. But do you want to be safe, child?" And she goes, "Yes, of course." He says, "Then give me the stone around your neck." She goes, "It's just a stone." He goes, "Yes, but it's not just a stone. It's a spell that on your 18th birthday, which is in a week, you will no longer exist, and she will now look like you. So you make your choice. Give me the stone and go on your way and live your life, or become someone else. But your life will end on your birthday. Make your choice." So she told us she gave him the stone without one forethought and started to run out the door and fell. And she listened. because she hurt herself and it was going to take her time to get up. And she listened to the three witches laugh. And one says, "What about the child?" He goes, "What about the child? She's safe. I have the stone. She cannot be harmed without the stone." But with this stone, we can punish the queen. And they laughed. And we'll catch that old witch at the same time now. So her 13th birthday came and she was safe. She snuck and watched the witches for a second, but saw nothing, but heard a scream and a cackle and a laugh. "We got you, nasty queen." And you just see a dog dragging a chain into the cave. She runs back home. And as she's running through and getting out there, you hear another scream. And you hear a growl. But that's all she could hear. So she stopped and went home. But then her friend runs into the middle of the square with a story to tell. But that's another story. Will you come back for part 2? I don't know. But it's no longer story time. So remember, subscribe to my channel, put the hand up, write a message, leave what you think we should talk about, and tell me if you like the story, because it's just a story from an old woman, not me, who told a bunch of friends in the dark. AA, see you in church.